Teliani valley, Kindzmarauli, semi-sweet. Hello everybody, so nice to see you this evening. Tonight we are doing a very special wine review, a wine that I've been very excited to try, a wine from the country of Georgia. You heard it right, the country of Georgia. This wine is from the Teliani Valley. Its name is Kindzmarauli. I've heard a lot about wine grown in this region. I've heard a lot of great things about the wine culture in the country of Georgia. I've tasted some of their wines. I've enjoyed their wines. However, I cannot claim to know a lot about the history of wine in that region of the world. So tonight we're actually joined by a guest, and a dear friend of mine. His name is Don Van Suaré. He's from the National Institute of Soil Fertility. He's going to tell us a little bit more about this wine. He's going to tell us a little bit more about the history of the region, and hopefully we can learn a little something and you can get something out of it.
Thanks, Brian. Kindzmarauli is historically one of the most famous wines of all time. One of the things that people don't realize about the wine is that despite the fact that it is mostly produced in Georgia, it didn't originate there. In 1806, the Sudanese had the Great Migration, where they brought over grapes and seeds that, as the explorers set foot onto the shore, they uncovered one of the most beautiful plots of land that has ever been recorded by the National Institute of Soil Fertility. Now, when they laid the seeds down on this soil, it produced some of the most tart and sweet grapes that we've ever seen in all of history. And the result of that is a wine that is just absolutely to die for.
Thank you, Don. I appreciate that history. It's always interesting getting the opinion of somebody from the NISF, trying to get a feel for just how the soil and how the climate of certain regions could have an impact on the flavor of a wine. So, as we always do on my show, why don't we get right into this wine, and why don't we try to really express for our viewers now the different flavors and profiles of this. So,
it's my favorite part of the show.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Let's get the nose. What are you smelling? Tell me what you're smelling.
Yeah. So one of the things that you'll notice, that hint of nuttiness. Now that comes from actually the Sudanese dirt where the grapes were originally buried. You will pick up some of that as they migrate over and bring it over to the more fertile soil. So you still kind of catch some of that. And actually, when they take the grapes, they bring them over in these large sacks, these burlap sacks, and you will actually catch some of the flavoring of that too. It's similar to, if you're familiar with how they make whiskey, how it picks up some of the taste of the barrel.
In the bourbon. Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, yeah, you'll catch that.
Wow. That's very interesting, because when you were describing the wine and you were telling us a little bit more about the history, I'm tasting it, and before you even said it, I thought to myself, burlap sack, and then you said that they were actually storing the grapes in burlap sacks.
Sure.
So it's just amazing how good my mouth is that I can taste these types of things, and I'm sure that you and I are on that same level.
Absolutely. And the thing is, if you've ever tasted a burlap sack before, you know, you kind of know that unique taste that it has.
Texture.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that is actually what kind of makes this unique. There are not really any other wines out there that have that burlap sack taste to them. So that makes this a complete standout in my mind.
And I would say too that the market for that flavor is really increasing, especially with the advent of Facebook, Instagram now.
Absolutely.
People are really saying, like, look, I want that flavor, I want that burlap sack taste, I want that texture.
Yeah. But
basically, there's no other wine out there, no other drink out there that can really capture it quite to the degree.
Well, the reason for that, so burlap sack is a very overpowering taste. So when most other wines try to do it, they have a hard time balancing it. But as you probably know, the manganese that's in the wine and really helps to kind of even it out. You still get that taste of burlap cutting through, but it's not quite as powerful.
Overpowering.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
It's not overpowering.
Right.
It's not overpowering. And that's the thing. The way they blended this, you can tell that it is truly a rich culture, a rich tradition. And for people like you and I, that means a lot to us. That's something that we take pride in, how much we know about different cultures and about different traditions. This is why it's top of our list.
Yeah. Look, this is definitely in my top 3 wines of all the wines that I've had, and as you know, that's quite a few. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
This guy knows his wine. Let me tell you something. I'm being serious. So anyway, I really want to thank you for coming here tonight.
Hey.
I really want to thank you for joining me on this wine review. Do you have any final things that you'd like to shout out, or why don't you tell them about your book?
Absolutely. Yeah, so the book is called Wine of the Worlds, and it comes out in about 3 weeks. Today is the 5th, right?
The 7th.
The 7th. Okay, so a little less than 3 weeks. Really excited about this. We actually toured the world, went to over 700 wineries.
Wow.
Yeah, and we tasted wines at all of them. We recorded the process for making the wines, my overall impressions of them. We recorded the soil that was used in growing the grapes for the wine, the level of soil fertility. We actually recorded each one so that you have a frame of reference and can compare to the other wines as you go.
Wow, that's great.
We also talk about the process of how it's made so that you can actually make it yourself if you want to.
If you wanted to.
Yeah. So definitely check it out. I highly recommend the book. It'll be in stores, like I said, on the 28th. Pick up a copy. It should be in all your local bookstores, as well as online. You can get it on Audible too.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. Why don't we have one final toast?
Let's do it.
One final libation to the God of Wine.
Comes crashing down.
And we will see you guys next time on Smart Guy Wine Review. Come live.